close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. In the city, rushing through me, down on the street, all you make me feel it. In the city, rushing through me, down on the street, all you make me feel it. Rushing through me, down on the street, all you make me. Round the rainbow, burning in the city, rushing through me, down on the street, all you make me feel it. Round the rainbow, burning in the city, rushing through me, down on the street, all you make me feel it. Round the rainbow, burning in the city, rushing through me, down on the street, all you make me. Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in our eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it out. Tonight, we gonna let it out. Tonight, we gonna let it out. Just like the
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Amigos Racing League. It's been a while since I've been here. Wasn't there last week when we had Kialami. Now we're back here with a, well, very interesting track here myself. We are here on Laguna Seca. This track based in California is obviously a fan favorite, although it is also one of the most technical and difficult tracks out there. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how everything pans out here. As qualifying is underway, we've got 30 minutes of qualifying as we usually do. And I suggest that we make the most of it. Right. Once again, I am joined here by Alex. Alex, how are you doing, mate? Hope you're doing well.
Doing good, my friend. Doing good. How are you?
I am. Well, I've got mixed feelings today. I'm excited to be back on the mic. But there was also this... basically, DHL blue-balled me.
Okay.
I don't know if I told you this. I don't think I did.
No.
But there is... basically, I have a sim racing rig. You might know that, right? I think I told you this.
I've heard about it, yeah.
I have a sim racing rig. And I decided to make the upgrade from a single monitor to 3 monitors. And I bought a triple monitor stand up front because I know those take a long time to deliver, especially considering I think that it can take up to a month. Now, luckily, I'm Netherlands-based, and the company that makes them is Netherlands-based. Even then, it was rather, long. So I decided to order them early, and then when I got my invoices paid, I could buy the monitors as a business expense because I'm also going to be using them from, for work.
Yep.
So that was the original plan. Now, my monitors, I bought them from a German company because that was actually cheaper. And they sent them over to the Netherlands with DHL. But they're all separate packages. So what happens is, I guess you can see where this is going, right? So the first one arrived at the door this morning, which I've got right here. Then the second one was delivered to a local gas station, which is like a DHL pickup point. Then the other one's just lost within DHL. Nobody knows where it is.
They fully just lost it.
They can't tell me where it is right now. The German company says they're with DHL, and DHL says, well, we've got it somewhere, we just don't know where. So, yeah. Rather interesting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's always good to... You can never trust those companies, man.
Yeah, I learned that they are. I mean, they'll come. It will just take a little while longer, which sucks because I want to get racing, right? I was really excited to get them. I spent a lot of money to get those 3 monitors. And obviously, getting 3 new monitors, which are all 1440p and 160 hertz, that's not a cheap upgrade either, so...
No, that's, well, I know personally I'm not patient enough to wait for upgrades, so... I feel your pain.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how bad it would get in Canada here. Now, by the way, we do have a qualifying going on. However, the turn-up in the Porsche Cup is rather low. As it appears, there are currently only 2 cars out on track, which is John Dudley and Gianluca Rigatti, the only Porsche Cup drivers out there. There is one in the pits, which is Dominic Gies. He hasn't moved as of yet, and the rest of the drivers, well, they're just kind of stuck here for now, waiting for those 10 minutes to strike so they can get out on track. And then, sure, we'll have a little bit of a more busy track. But this is also great, right? John and Gianluca Rigatti, they're just able to do their own thing here. They can just drive in clean air. This is honestly very good for them, because now they never have to worry about traffic in any sorts, and maybe that way they'll be competitive during qualifying with, the Porsche Cup cars, even though they're significantly slower. And, in my opinion, actual death traps around this track as well. They are not easy to drive.
No, we've seen that in these past few weeks here as we've been watching the Porsche Cup sort of alongside our our main events there. It'll be interesting to see what happens on this one. Only 2 drivers so far. I wonder if any of them are going to jump out at the last minute, maybe get, you know, one lap in.
The thing is, right, there's 3 drivers, and to make it even worse, one of the 3 drivers has got a qualifying ban for being naughty during the previous race at Kielami, and that is Dominic East, so he can't actually move out. I just thought of that as well, so he's just stuck there for now, which is a little bit of a shame.
Right.
Good improvements we're seeing, though, all around here. Gianluca Rigatti will take that lead over from John Dudley, who was currently 4/10 of the pace here. That was a beautiful lap coming in from the Padagara Racing driver. And now it's up to him to try and build up on the momentum and set a need for faster timer. But yeah, elevation, tight turns, also the corkscrew. This is just probably the worst track you could have for, you know, these Porsche Cups. And I think, actually, if I'm not mistaken, this is also one of these shorter circuits that we have in the Assetto Corsa Competizione. Now, don't quote me on that, but I do believe that this is a rather fast and also a rather short track in comparison to the others.
See if that has any effect on the drivers here. I mean, lets you get a lot more laps in, I guess, theoretically. Might lead to some better times here, at least in the qualifying, but either way. Curious to see where this one goes. Gianluca Rigatti, of course, going to maintain his lead here. Well, doing pretty well so far, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's kind of hard to set a benchmark if there's only 2 drivers really out there. This is Gianluca Rigatti looking to beat that time by a couple tenths as well. It's not going to be a couple tenths, but it's going to be a couple hundreds here that he shaved off his time here. Putting John Dudley on exactly half a second behind him. And, well, they've got plenty of stuff to do still, but there's only 3 minutes remaining. And, well, it's going to get real interesting because how do these GT3s now fare versus the Porsche Cups, right? We expect them to be faster, but we've got 0 reference at this point. And also it's just short track as well. Everybody has plenty of, you know, attempts. Even if you mess one up, it's not like you're going to be stuck there for 20 minutes, which is also good. So for me, this is going to be a very interesting one. And honestly, I can't wait to see what happens when the GT3s get out there. Because one thing that I am keeping in mind right now is that within, when you have these very short kind of laps, the gaps between the drivers will automatically be less as well. So yeah, this is going to be a good improvement as well from both of the drivers here. John Dudley currently on roughly 4/10 quicker. And it looks like Gianluca Rigatti is also a little bit quicker, but he's made a mistake, he's gone off. Therefore, he won't be improving, and John Dudley gets ever so slightly closer here. Yeah, Gianluca Rigatti from resetting into the pits there. That was unfortunately not what he was hoping for. By the way, if you got your game working, or is it still not doing what it's supposed to do?
No, it is not. I'm still looking around to see if I can figure it out here. But in the meantime, still just watching your stream of things, so keeping up with the action. But no dice here so far.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird, can't lie. Now we do have both drivers still out there on track here. John Dudley kind of equal with his current lap attempts. He's going to be trying to do a little bit more. I mean, if he could get this down to 1/10 of a second, I think he should be happy here. At the moment, he's a tiny bit slower than Gianluca Rigatti. He was looking to at least improve on his own lap and try and get a little bit closer, but now he seems to be struggling again. A little bit unfortunate, but how well. So be it as spot. It's not going to be improvement this lap round, and there will be only a minute left till all the GT3s get out on track. And then honestly, everything could go down. And honestly, if I have to do some predictions right now, the Porsche Cups, I don't expect them to be that competitive. Although I really, really, really want them to. But it just seems wishful thinking at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, maybe one day we can see it as people used to, but it seems like it's kind of a tall order so far with what we've seen. I think they've been placing pretty middle end of the pack thus far.
Just one last shot, that's all they've got now. There is improvement up for cards here for both of the drivers. John Dudley ever so slightly faster at the moment, but the delta still kind of against that, 0-0-0 mark. So he's really getting to that consistency here, but he's not really getting those improvements in that he would have liked to have here. So consistency is something that John Dudley has got down now. He had to make a mistake during quali now, as all the GT3s have come out. Things are going to get rather interesting here. John Dudley, just finishing up his lap here right now, is actually going to come into the pits. He's not finishing it. That will be it for quali for him. So Gianluca Rigatti takes pole position in the Porsche Cup.
Well, not a huge field, but either way, you got to give it to Gianluca Rigatti for that one. So we'll have to see how the rest of the drivers fare. It'll be interesting to see what the comparison is that we've been talking about here.
That was a little bit close. Honestly, not too bad after all. Right, so what I did notice is that this is going to be a lap finished off by Gianluca Rigatti, but no improvement as we speak, and therefore everybody's kind of come to a halt here now, as we're going to get ready for the GT3s out there. Both the pro split and the amateur split out on the same time. And honestly, just this feeling, right? Getting close to the start-finish line, waiting for a spot. There's something about this. There's something magical. Like, everybody wants that space before they start the qualifying lap. But see, this is a short track, so that will be rather difficult, of course. Now, I must say that the drivers that we do have on the grid obviously are pretty well experienced. They know what they're doing. But even then, finding that space and hoping you're not going to get any closer is honestly rather important here. As there's 18 minutes left here for all the faster drivers to try and get the lap in.
Right, well, we should be swimming along shortly enough. I think I've solved the problem here, so...
What was the problem?
I believe I didn't have the DLC required, so...
Oh, right, it's the Americas pack. Yeah, that might be why.
Yeah,
that was... I think I sent you the list of all the DLCs you need, right? It's the American pack and the Intercontinental GT pack that you need.
Yeah.
Alright, well, should be fixed now.
Oh... I think we should be good to go in that regard. Yeah.
All right, that's going to make things a lot easier as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I could finally fully focus on the race and what's got going on in front of us, so.
Yeah, and obviously I've done this alone for quite a while, so it's not that big of a deal, but it always helps to have some support in, especially when these races are quite longer. Obviously, we've got 90 minutes to go. And then we'll see what that brings us here. It's Konchik to go fastest at the moment here, but there's plenty of drivers just getting out of there. And including one of those is Dan Pickles right now, who's yet to set his first lap in. Going to be trying to set his first valid lap now. See, the last one was just a warm-up lap, and he's going to be trying to do his best to improve on these laps later. And there he goes. It's going to be 12th fastest. Not bad overall. But still, I think it's fair to say that there's still plenty of room for improvement.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm just thinking back now to 2 weeks ago when we were doing our last race and the incredibly close competitions we saw back then. So I'm curious to see if we keep that up this race this time around.
I think this is one of those weeks where consistency is key. The honestly, the way I see it right now is that the drivers out there, they're going to be focusing on consistency, because at the moment, you know, if you go off somewhere here, it's going to cost you relatively a lot of time. And especially when you've got less drivers on the grid, I think that's also going to be a big impact for it. Because if you, for example, spin around in the corkscrew, it could cost you, well, maybe 15 seconds to try and get around and get up to speed again, depending on how busy it is on the track. And obviously, it is a smaller track, so consistency is key for this one. It is a tricky track as well. The conditions are quite warm, so the tires are also going to be feeling that a little bit more as well. So you want to make sure that you don't overheat those, of course. So honestly, this is going to get pretty interesting for me. And now here's Tommaso Bocci making his way through the final corner, as we just saw as well into the background. That Attenborough had a small hiccup there, and it's going to be 7 faults for Tommaso Bocci. Not bad at all, but still plenty of stuff to do. Yeah. And here's Elliot Watson's new livery. I think it is absolutely stunning.
I'm still loading the racer. Hold on, let me open up the perspective so I can take a look. I think my game's not loading things in. Looks very funny right now. Definitely a good thing that you're the one broadcasting and not me.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I always pretend to come prepared at least. I try my best to get out there and, you know, make sure that I always perform as good as possible. But yeah. Right, just 1 second here, gotta quickly do something. What is going on? I just saw a massive spike on my OBS, so I think we're having that problem again. Alright, there we go. Now I'm finally back. And let me know when you are all ready to go as well, so that you can relieve my stress if you need to. I'm gonna quickly open this, because I'm pretty sure I also saw something. Yep, there it is, exactly. Somebody telling me the stream's not doing what it's supposed to, but oh well. And the announcement also out there, yes.
Oh, okay.
Alright, yeah, I don't know if we lost connection or if you just... Yeah. Alright, we good now?
Briefly, yeah. Loading everything back in. I think I'm good, so I'm just back watching the race now.
Good, good.
Look at everything loading up here. And we're talking about Elliot Watts. Notice he's dropped a place to Hanovitz. Hanovitz in the competition, I believe, 2 weeks ago as well for one of the top positions. So, going to be curious to see if they keep that up this time around.
And obviously you also kind of notice, right, the lap times currently, the deltas are generally speaking quite calm for now. Because, as Emma Plate comes around. No, what I was trying to say here is that, for example, 1/10 improvement on a track that's only, you know, a couple kilometers long is obviously relatively faster than doing it on a lap where it takes you 2 minutes to get around. So the deltas are relatively calm for now. But here is Jack Christian. He's currently set to do half a second of improvement here. And that's going to shoot him up there. That's going to put him, I believe, between Bocci and Dan Poole here. That'll be a great result for the British youngster of Free City Racing. What is the time going to be? It's going to be P12 then, indeed. Split in between the middle of Bocci and Dan Poole there. A beautiful lap coming out from him now. Now just seeing who can build on that momentum. Dan Pickles is also rather quick out there right now, and he's actually already improving by half a second on this part of the track here. This could be an absolute stellar lapper. Same goes for Sylvain Pastores as well, as we see that David Hill has come to a stop there. He's had a spin, or at least has made a mistake, something along those lines, as he resets into the pits as well. This is going to be a stellar lapper for Dan Pickles. Just that improvement is going to be massive here. 6 tenths he's gained right now. And this is only, I believe, his first actual fast lap out there as well. So how much more can he perform? Delta is still looking quite alright. And then Sylvain Pastor is ahead of him as well. he is off to set an 8/10 improvement as well. He's going to go all the way into the top 10 potentially here, using that slipstream now, as that is Joseph Attenborough in his way as well. That's very nice. That helps him a lot as well. Pushes him into P11. What's it going to be for Dan Pickles? Only good for P15 for now, as the grid is slowly but surely starting to take place here.
Yeah, and as you said, if that's just Pickles' first fast lap, then we have to keep an eye on him for sure, because that's the first improvement. He's got quite a lot of time here. 10 minutes left in the qualifying with this short track will mean a lot of opportunity for him to move his way up in the rankings if he can get himself well acquainted quickly.
Have you actually seen the rankings?
Say that again?
Have you actually seen the ranking? It's actually really close now. There was a picture in general chat about it as well, where they pointed out that the gaps between the drivers are, well, very much minimal. I think Elliot Watts posted a picture that Hanovic is on 117, and then he is leading. Then it's Elliot Watts with 115. Konchik also on 115, and then Terry Fredrickson is on 109 as well. So the top four only separated by 8 points here. If you just score well one race, or if you have an off race, or if you miss one, you're going to be going all the way down there, which shows how incredibly tight things are right now.
Yeah, no one can afford to miss a race, or if they're here, miss a performance. I guess because it sounds like the field is close and getting closer. And this is a good track to do it on too, just because, like we were talking about, these times are so tight. If we look at it, everyone's a tenth or less apart from each other in the top 10 here. So
yeah,
I think there's going to be some really good battles today.
Oh, it's going to be a very, very close here. Now, the thing that I wanted to have a look at as well is there any driver right now surprising me in a positive or negative way? And I think, honestly, one name that I did spot up there, which is Sylvain Pastores right now. He's in P11. I know him as a competitive midfield slash, back marker driver, but honestly, I think he's definitely proved himself now. P11 is a great start for him. I know there's only 26 drivers on the grid, as we saw that Stigi joined a little bit later, as one of the McLaren's gone sideways. That is Darren Christie. Yeah, it just shows how difficult it is rejoining on this track, right? But well, that lap is ruined now. It's going to cost him a lot of time to get up to pace again. Or actually, he's decided to go straight into the pits, so therefore he's going to have to try again later.
Tough, but still a bit of time to try again. Just means that his next lap's going to have to be a solid one.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure what the goal there was for Adrian Hanovic. He was looking to improve, but it looks like he's made a mistake coming into the last turn, and that's cost him that time build-up that he had a little bit more before. Now, he's also rocking the same livery as Elliot Watts here, so it appears that they have teamed up. But just look at those liveries here. Look at how absolutely beautiful they are. There is, I think this is it's something with dragons, so I'm suppose there's some like meaning to it, probably like Chinese or something along those lines, right? If dragons are really popular there. Now, I'm not an expert or anything, but I must say I do know one thing. That looks absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing we always see in these races is just top liveries. So let's see, keeping it up, and kind of it's just spun out there actually as we were talking about him.
38.
He's gonna go back to the pits on that one.
Hanovic as well as the other Porsche. 2 Porsche going off at the same time. That's a little bit well, frustrating, right? Just when you're really getting that momentum in now, because now you have to just reset into the pits, do another outlap, and then try again. Right, that's gonna cost you what? Like, let's say 2.5, 3 minutes probably to get back up to speed again, and by then you only have a couple laps to prove yourself. Here's Samuel Bugawa. Improves his time nicely, and is going to move up a couple places here as well. Samuel Bugawa's on a roll right now. Keep in mind, this man is a controller warrior on such a technical track like this. I've got massive respect for something like that.
Yeah, really impressive, and going to be really curious to keep an eye on him. Samuel Bugawa was not in the last race that we cast together, so curious to take a look at what he has to show here. But He's perfectly at the midpoint in the field with a bit of time left to qualify, so you can keep that up. A very impressive day for the controller player.
Now, I actually talked a little bit as well to David Hill, driver that we normally expect to be at the front here, and I actually pointed out as well, he was together with Dominic Gies in the practice call. They actually pointed out here that the track is a rather dangerous one, especially turn 1 in the beginning of the race is one that I know to be quite awful, right? So for me, I think maybe it's honestly not even that bad to start from the back either. I mean, it's good if you're at the front because you're going to be able to escape the chaos coming towards you, right? But generally speaking, I think that honestly, if there's a track where you want to start on the back, it's either this one or Monza. So maybe the penalty here can actually be a blessing in disguise.
Right. So you're thinking anywhere between 5 and 20 would be sort of a dangerous game to play?
I mean, not necessarily a dangerous game to play. It's just that if there was like, statistically, you always see that some people, get messed up. So for me, I think in a lobby where everybody's got that basic respect for each other, I think that it, is not as big of a problem as it would be in, let's say, an open lobby. But I still think that we see in this league relatively often, compared to some other leagues that I've costed before, that it does get quite messy in the beginning. And for me, just staying out of trouble is honestly 50% of the work here. If you're just able to avoid getting, any incidents not going off track, you've already got a good baseline for good results. Even if you were, a second per lap slower or something along those lines. Because if the other drivers just spin off once, that's going to cost them, 20 seconds? And that means you're going to be up to pace for 20 laps at least. So therefore, I do think that's going to be quite interesting. Now, one other thing as well is that this is a pretty long race. So a good start doesn't necessarily mean anything if you've got that long-term pace. Drivers have got to come in twice, where they have a fixed refueling time. Everybody, well, almost everybody is probably going to come in for tires here, as it is a quite difficult track, at least in my opinion. You don't want to be suffering grip loss here. So I think, honestly, that the qualifying has less of an impact than it would in, let's say, a 60-second race.
Right. We're going to have to see, and see if anyone is fighting for their final laps of qualifying here. It's like down in P15-16, Dan Pickles and Dan Poole, two Dans, both looking to jump their lap times up, both on a pretty decent delta right now, so see if that helps them out at all, but looks like it was only just enough to swap positions at the moment.
Yeah, now there's a couple drivers here looking to do good improvements. For example, Aaron Sparks here. Now he was a little bit slower on that exit here, and that's going to cost him a couple tenths here. But if he nails that exit, he should be good for an improvement of a couple tenths here. But looks like he's actually slowed down towards the later side of the track, and it's going to be an improvement. It's only going to be 1/1000th of a second here, so that's going to be a big impact maker here. As Adrian Hanowich also is now making his way across the finish again with a 3/10th improvement. He could potentially go P3. It's going to be P2 even, beating out Terje Frederiksen. That is a massive result to be starting on the front row. Sure, you're on the outside, but does that even matter? That is a very, very great lap for him.
Yeah, really great way to sneak in at the end here. Most people only going to have time to do one more lap with what we're looking at now. So if there was ever a time to boost yourself into the top positions, I would say it's now. But
Absolutely.
as you say, we'll see how much qualifiers end up mattering.
Now, there is actually a good reason as well that the track becomes faster and faster. It's because all those drivers are laying down rubber, right? And that's going to improve your grip level significantly. So you notice that when you come towards the end, first of all, the cars are low on fuel. So that, generally speaking, helps because the lighter you are, the faster you go. And the rubber here, that's going to be quite good here. Everybody's had that time to warm up. They feel comfortable now. Now it's up to them to try and improve it. There are still a couple drivers here on really, really fast laps here. For example, David Hill could be improving by half a second here even. Now he makes a slight mistake on the exit there, and that cost him quite a bit, but it's still going to be a massive improvement. Shoots up to P6 at least. That is a very, very great result at least. And honestly, I think with the increased competition that we're seeing right now, I think that P6 is honestly not even too bad.
Not at all. I think you take that if you're Davey Hill. Pushes himself just in front of Kari Martinikanen, so every little bit probably looks to help. As qualifying officially going to wind down to the end here, and drivers going to be finishing up their few final laps. We'll see where the field stands, but I think it's going to be pretty set.
Yeah, Jack Christie makes a mistake, goes back into the pits there. I mean, there's no time for another outlap here, so Jack Christie's finished here and has put himself in P. Oh, what is that at the front? What has happened there? Look at how many drivers were off there. Oh, I want to see that one again. What has happened there? Suddenly, I see 4 or 5 yellow markers. What has happened there? In the replay, suddenly I see a lot of drivers just standing there. All right, that's the first going off, and oof, yeah, just couldn't control it there. More drivers just not able to avoid the car. There's David Hill involved as well. Anyway's just about to escape. That is what happened then. Dramatic end to qualifying here. Dave Frederiksen coming in one more time. That's driver number 17. That is Joey Attenborough also having the same struggles again here. A lot of drama here towards the end of the race. Sorry, end of the qualifying. It's not the race yet. But yeah, that is definitely going to shake up some good results as well there. Who's still left on track? Not a lot. There it is. That will be your final field there. It's going to be Konchik in P1. Then it's Hanovic, Frederiksen, Emma Plate, Elliot Watts, David Hill, Kari Martinikanen, Nico Handke, Oliver Jewick, and then Darkwood Jr. as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back as soon as the race is about to start.
Till I get up, time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna let it away. Tonight, we're gonna let it away. Tonight, we're gonna let it away. Just like the sunrise, we're gonna let it away. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna light it.
Alright then. Here we are again, just slowly getting to our staggered start here at Laguna Seca. It's gonna be 26 drivers here at the end in total. It's everybody just slowly but surely starting to make his way out. Dominic Gies is the driver starting off all the way at the back here, as he unfortunately got himself a not a drive-through, but he got himself a qualifying ban here, as we are now going to be waiting for this lap to finish to start our 1 hour and 30-minute race. It's going to get very, very, very exciting, and honestly, I can't wait, but I can't wait and wonder what this one's going to come into. Right, do you want to do any bold predictions here, or would you rather not risk it?
Ooh, bold predictions. Bold predictions. I do like a bold prediction. Off the jump, I'll let you go. I gotta find something. I don't see anything too crazy here. Let's see.
You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say that Jack Christie is gonna have one of these nights again where he starts off in the midfield and somehow ends up at the front without anybody noticing, and then you're like, wait, what? How is he here? It's happened twice now this season already, I think. No, it was last season, I think, but still, it's something that happens from time to time. And I think honestly, we have some drivers maybe struggling for consistency here. I could honestly see this as a track that has that potential as well to do that.
Yeah. Tough track, long race. Yeah, you definitely run into the chance to find some weird little inconsistencies in your game, and then next thing you know, the field doesn't look anything like what it's supposed to. I think for now it looks more or less, yeah, I would expect.
Were you there last week? I know Chris did some. Yeah, I know Chris did some. I wasn't sure if you joined in or not. I guess you just really wanted to get back with me. I get it.
Yeah, couldn't broadcast otherwise. No, I was like, nah, no way.
Oh, right. Did he want you to broadcast, or?
I might have jumped in if I had been around, but I had a couple meetings I had to get to that day.
I actually don't know what I was doing. I don't know what the reason was I couldn't be there. I forgot already, to be honest. I think I had a paid offer, that's right, yeah. I understand now, okay. But we are underway with the 90-minute race here at Laguna Seca. You could just see everybody making it downhill or into that sharp left-hander. It's honestly quite tight already, but it appears that, well, despite that traffic jam, everybody's made it through rather safely. So that's a great start here. That might have been one of the cleanest starts we ever had here with Amigos Racing League, which is really not something I would say every day.
No, that was impressive. I think we were talking about it a bit before race. There was the potential for some danger here on this track, but I guess the penalties work sometimes, as it seems to have gotten out quite unscathed.
I mean, nobody goes into a race thinking, like, hey, I want to, just ruin somebody's races, right? And you also know that you've got plenty of time to race, get through the field. And I honestly have that feeling that when a race is longer, less incidents happen, per hour, because you'll have more time to force your opponent to make a mistake. You'll have more time to, just drive towards other people if you're ever so slightly faster. You'll have more time. And you just have less stress to overtake now, because if it's a 20-minute sprint race, if you want a good position, you have to get overtaken like a madman, right? Whereas for here, you can just lay back a little, see what everybody does pit stop-wise, and I honestly think that helps quite a lot.
Oh, absolutely. There's no reason to get too crazy for no reason early on in the race. We saw that a lot in our preseason races as well, which was the
driver swap events.
Yeah, driver swaps. So that was kind of the same thing here. I think this is our longest race of the season so far to date, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it should also be. I think well, generally speaking, we only have one longer event, which is the season finale, which is the only race of the season that also starts a little bit earlier compared to the other ones. to ensure that people don't enter late. Obviously, people all have jobs, and right, everybody needs to also be able to wake up in the morning. So therefore, you can't expect everybody to be driving till midnight. Like right now, we're ending at roughly 11 Central European time, 10 for the Brits. But if you, for example, you're a driver like Kari-Matti Nikkanen, you're going to be ending at midnight because he's in Finland, which is 1 hour ahead of Central European time, 2 hours ahead of the UK. So honestly, I would say that you can't really force a race to end later than that. I feel like that's just no longer reasonable, right? So
Yeah.
at least in my opinion, I think it's fine as is. And honestly, I don't mind starting a little early for the, the only race of the season that is longer. So I think this is just the right way to go here. But yeah, it is honestly just quite tricky to get it right. And getting everybody to be able to show up in time is honestly quite difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be variable week to week, but I think for the most part, we do have some solid contenders that seem to be showing up every week. And I guess for that reason, that's the reason we're seeing this so close in points, right? Talking about that earlier during qualifiers.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously when you miss a race, that's going to have massive impact as well. But you can't just expect everybody, because these are drivers that all have a job or school or something along those lines, right? They're not professional drivers. They're just people with day-to-day jobs that come onto the, to come behind the wheel from time to time to do their own thing. And for me, I think that the only correct thing to do here really is just to, accept that people are going to miss a couple races, but also force attendance in a way that not everybody's going to join in, do one race, and then never show up again, hindering other people from joining as well. Because obviously that wouldn't really help either. So they do have some form of attendance, which I think is really important as well.
I think we see the field changing a little bit. I think we saw a few drivers move out, a few drivers move in this past couple weeks, just relating to attendance and all that. But those that do show up, you have to give them extreme credit, because sometimes the dedication that goes into racing or any sport, I suppose, really can be a lot.
I mean, nobody's going to show up.
Glad to get the chance to see these guys.
Yeah, nobody's going to show up and do absolutely zero practice, right? Keep in mind that on top of what they're doing right now, they also have to prepare. And obviously we've got the sprint first days that we have running, which is a new concept that we have here as the pit window opens, to get some extra practice in shorter, I believe they're 30 or 45 minute races. So honestly, I think that is a smart call as well. But these drivers aren't just committed to driving the race. No, they're practicing for hours and hours to get those perfect laps in, figure out the stints, figure out the setups, you name it. So I think there's a lot more that goes into it that a lot of people don't even realize.
Yeah, even stuff like this, right?
Have we lost you? I think we lost you there a little bit.
Sorry, games have people here. I think we're still
now I can hear you again, but it's kind of lagging out a little bit from time to time.
Okay. I think I'm fixed here. I don't know what was going on. My game was being a little strange, and I guess Discord was too, but I'm back now to check out what's going on.
Yeah, no, I was wondering, hey, is this on my end or what's going on? Turns out it's not. But yeah, as I mentioned, these people, they take it real seriously, right? And therefore, I think it's only fair that, they have that room and respect to just drive out races as well, which I think is pretty important. Now, for me, this is actually quite interesting, because now I finally get to see what it is like in a racing league. Because I have actually joined my first official proper racing league on SimGrid the other day.
Oh, okay. How was that?
It's well.
Have you done your first race yet?
Yeah. So it's a four race season. It is in regular Seca Corsa, so not competizione. That being the Phoenix. How do you say that? A Phoenix, I think. Phoenix Simsport, it's called.
Phoenix?
Yeah, Phoenix. I don't know how you pronounce that in English. I think it's Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix, yeah.
Okay.
No, you got it.
Yeah, so that is the league that I joined into. They do sprint races in the Mazda MX-5 Cup. I had my first race in round 2 of the races at the league, as I missed out on the Zolder event. The race I participated in was Snetterton, a track that I had actually never driven before up until qualifying, as I didn't really have much time to practice because it was Father's Day that day. So I was just getting in cold, basically. Yeah. In the first race, I finished P5, and even though I started with a penalty, because I got teleported into the pits, because apparently I was moving at 1 kilometer an hour on the grid while not being in control because the car wasn't in neutral. So that messed me up a little bit. And then the second race, it was a reversed grid, and I managed to snag my first podium as well. So that was a great way to start the season, I think.
Wow.
Putting me 7th out of 14 drivers overall. So honestly, I'm quite happy with how that went.
I would say you should be, yeah. It's not bad for jumping in cold and just driving, so next week if you get a bit of time to practice, be like,
yeah, although I must also say the skill level is a little bit, well, I don't want to say worse, but obviously we are driving with less experienced drivers and less fast drivers compared to these lads, so it's still nowhere good, but honestly I'll take it, you know. I've been able to put in the results that I wanted to, and I think a podium is already way more than I thought I would accomplish in the first race, so it's only up from here, I suppose.
I would say so. And I would say so. I'd be curious to see if you'll be driving in this league one day, eh?
I want to, but I don't know how I feel about committing to a set of Corsa Competizione, because I like the idea of just only setting my foot in GT3 cars only on these, well, how many tracks we've got? 20 tracks, and just be fine, right? But then again, I would also like that variety in a way, and I guess for me it's also just nice to just not have any limitation in some track. Like for example, we did Solder and Snetterton, which are both in the Assetto Corsa Competizione game. But our next race, for example, is at Catwall Park, which is a track that is not in Assetto Corsa Competizione, as the British GT doesn't race there. But for me, it's just fun to have those tracks out there that, you know, you sometimes haven't even heard of. Now, I knew Catwall Park already, but it's just fun to have these tracks that are lesser known and just make for good racing in general as well.
Yeah, well, a little variety is the spice of life, as they say, so...
We've got Road America as well.
Makes sense. Oh, yeah. Yeah, just did a cast on Road America the other day, so...
Oh, wait, you did?
Last week, I guess it would have been.
What did you do?
Yeah. For the folks that you introduced me to there, they did, I did their first...
Oh, how did that go?
Session for them. Went really well, yeah. I had to do the, I guess what you were doing for these guys before, solo cast, producing, and I think it went well overall. And one slight technical dropout, which was kind of unfortunate, but other than that, not too bad at all. And then back again tonight, so 2 out of, I guess, it'll be 4 total.
Yeah, that's the, what was the league called again? Pleb Chat server, is that one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I gotta watch that back, mate. I gotta watch that back when I have some time. That would be a lot of fun. Because I have done zero. Yeah. How are the broadcasting tools? Because I sent you those, but I haven't actually tried them out.
Yeah, so they actually sent me one that clones the ACC broadcast that we use for ours. So it's really nice. It's the exact same thing, and makes it really easy because I came from that and then, or from this and then go right into that. It's basically the same. Slight differences, obviously, but... Oh,
wait, so you can see deltas and stuff as well?
Yeah. Oh. So they do the exact thing. It makes it really easy. I can send you all the tools. It's really good.
Yeah, that sounds honestly quite nice.
Yeah, it takes a bit more to set up, but it's not bad.
I don't know. I mean, for me, it's like I've done 2 complete opposites of the spectrum here in terms of sim racing broadcasts. So first of all, I've done a set of course of competition, which is like quite high tech with all the broadcasting tools integrated into the game, right? And then you've got R Factor 2, which is an absolute pain in the arse to set up because the menus are awful, and there's tools, but for example, there's so much more things I need to control. So for example, you see these overall standings in the left, I have to put those up and down manually. Same goes for the things in the bottom right. So it's a lot more work, and there's limited camera angles as well, as Oliver Jewick finds himself now facing the wrong way. Goes off into the center. I doubt there was any contact there. I don't think Aaron Sparks hit him, but we do see the German falling back all the way there.
That's going to put him in a very tough spot going forward. And he's going to have to make up a lot of ground on that one. Darkwood Jr. first into the pit here, so starting to see that pit strategy as it happens now. Looks like Fredrickson too in P4 trying to catch up with Elliott Watts. Might be a battle to watch here as 3 and 4 are neck and neck.
I mean, when are they not neck and neck, right? That's just how this competition is in general. But the interesting thing here is that all the drivers at the front obviously have these success penalties, right? So Hanovic has a 10-second penalty. Elliott Watts has to come from further away to make things even worse. And that is Tommaso Bocci standing still on the exit of the pits as well. So my guess is that he might have... Ooh, the reset there. Is that going to be the end for Tommaso Bocci? I think it might be. Because that to me looked quite unnatural. And that makes me think that there was some kind of a technical issue here, as he just was standing still at the pit entry. So either he's overshot the corner, accidentally almost went to the pits. He was standing there for so long that I think we might not see him come out again.
Interesting. We'll have to keep an eye on Bocci and see what happens with him. But that would be a very unfortunate way to end whatever did happen there.
Yeah, now that obviously is part of racing sometimes. And I just noticed we had a late joiner in as well. Aaron Holloway is only 6 laps down, but he is now joining us here. And, well, seeing him moving up a couple positions would be rather difficult. But he has come out here. And, well, honestly, even though the result's not going to be too competitive here, I must say I really admire the dedication.
Yeah, absolutely. I was looking at that and I was wondering what exactly I was seeing. Because I hadn't recalled seeing him earlier, but yeah, late joining and at least get some laps in one way or the other. And just to confirm, Tommaso Bocci has left the server, so that is the end of his night.
Yeah, it's well, a little bit of a shame, really. I think there must be some more to that, as I don't think he was involved in a crash. Yeah. But then again, I did notice him go a little bit, you know, not necessarily slower, but I guess he just somehow found himself in a position where, you know, he wasn't comfortable feeling that. Oh, well, sorry to interrupt myself there, but Gianluca Rigatti, another Portugal racing driver, finds himself facing the wrong way. And, well, that is not the first time we have seen that happen. And now we walk back. There is another battle going on immediately. But as I was trying to say there, obviously he's felt a reason to not continue. And, well, that is always a little bit of a shame there, but that's just how it is sometimes. And, well, I guess we'll be seeing him later on in the next week. And I just really quickly have to think, what was the next race again? Is the Hungaroring? Was that it? It's on the no, it's in the document, but I actually forgot to print it out this time. But I have hammered in everything apart from the next race, so it doesn't really matter too much to me anymore. Ooh, another car going sideways. That was Eleanor here. It's going to be very slow now as well. Obviously seeing all these cars past him on the hill. Not what he was hoping for, but yeah, so be it sometimes. And, well, I guess sometimes it is what it is, right?
Bathurst next time, Bathurst.
Oh yeah, 75 minutes of Bathurst. Well,
Yes.
that was one of the first broadcasts. Was that the first broadcast you were on?
Yep. That was my first one. It was driver swap, and we were on Bathurst, so it'd be good to go back and check it out again. See how the old track's doing there.
I mean, for me, I think the great thing is that the replayability of this game is just so good because every race is so vastly different.
It feels like it, yeah, absolutely. There's so many different outcomes depending on who's driving and what kind of a day they're having, how the track conditions are. Obviously, there's just so many different elements that go into it.
Yeah, so I've actually just booted up the yellow, the YouTube chat here, not yellow chat, YouTube chat, and this is what I've got. Richard Christie was not there, as obviously a couple drivers here did go to the 24 hours of Le Mans in France, and they're just making their way back. Harry Howard being one of them. I believe that it was also Richard Christie. Yes, indeed, that's what he said in chat. So yeah, we're missing a cow out on a few because of that. So that makes quite a bit of sense. And then Aaron Holloway said as well that he was joining a little bit later. And Tommaso Bocci has told me that he was involved in a crash, but that was between himself and a wall.
Fair. I mean, I guess that counts, so, you know, only the wall to blame and can't give it a penalty, I'm afraid, so have to figure that one out. Hopefully next time, with better luck, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, so for me, that's also the thing. My main concern right now is that it's always like with these leagues, I'm always scared that the attendance is never going back up again, right? But I know that this is just a one-side time thing. And I know that generally speaking, the track record that Amigos has is like more than good enough to keep the drivers like going, right? So I'm not necessarily worried just yet, but there's always something in the back of my head that's going for it. As Tiggy has had a spin and he's now resetting into the pits as well. That might be the last thing we see of him. Or no, actually he's kept going. Obviously has to redo the entire lap, but other than that, he is just making his way back out again. So that makes me think that he is not willing to give up just yet.
Well, it's good. Nothing wrong with that. Might be a tough position to work your way out of, but regardless, let's see if you can do it.
I mean, even if you don't finish the race, it's still good experience, right? You are at least just getting yourself a couple extra laps in experience for the next race. So I don't think it's ever a bad thing to do. Now, what I did notice as well is that the track temperatures, they are extremely high at the moment, which makes me think that those tires are not going to last very long, making me think that a lot of drivers are going to opt for some kind of a tire change in the future. And despite obviously the fixed refueling time, I do expect the drivers to stay in a little bit more to at least swap tires once, but obviously it's up to them to see how they want to spend that. But yeah, we haven't seen a lot of drivers come in yet. I think only Stiggy is gone, as he has now got himself a disqualification, but that would be removed by the admin. That's no big deal. But generally speaking, well, apart from a couple drivers at the back, nobody else has come in yet. So what I'm thinking right now, a lot of drivers are probably coming in at the 45-minute mark if they want to do tires, and if not, they're probably going to do something like, you know, three 30-minute stints. Just divide them up into equal pieces. So have a little bit of time to break, to have a break in as well. As honestly, people underestimate how intensive sim racing is. Like, I'm on a 9 Newton meter wheel. Can you imagine how those people are feeling that I've got like 21 Newton meters wheels? It's like, that's like a whole workout, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. It's as fatiguing as anything. As just the driver against the wall there. I'm not sure who that was.
I think that was that should be Oliver Dewey at least, judging that it was one of the it was the Vivid Global Racing livery, and I don't think it was a Mercedes, so therefore it's only one name. And well, Oliver Dewey, he's been struggling. Obviously, I shouldn't push the old guys too much here. He is the oldest driver that we have in the server here. at over
Right.
60 years old. I mean, massive respect if you're still driving. Have you ever heard of that Japanese super GT driver who's like 70-year-old and still driving?
I think we were talking about that the other week. Yeah, you were telling me about him, which is just incredible. I mean, we were just talking about the workout that it is, right? So
IRL, it's even worse, right?
yeah, you just multiply that, and I mean, hey, you keep yourself in good enough shape, I guess you can do anything for a long time. But my God,
And
very
he's
impressive
looking
either way.
good as well for a 70-year-old. Like, he does not look 70. But that's just how it is with a lot of Asian people, what I noticed. Because actually, Asian males take care of their skin pretty well. Whereas Westerners generally don't. So therefore, we all look old and wrinkly in our 60s. Whereas they can look good until 100.
Like old and wrinkly, and I'm not even in my 60s. So, you know, sometimes it just doesn't work out no matter what you do.
How old are you now, Alex?
25.
It's
I'm
not
mostly
too bad.
joking.
Yeah, you'll
Mostly.
You'll be fine. Like, for now, that's not too big of a deal, I think. We did notice a change at the front as Terry Frederickson made his way past Elliot Watts, but Elliot Watts is still chasing, of course, but he's got that penalty to serve. Honestly, this is a really good position to be in for Terry Frederickson, knowing that the drivers at the front are going to have to do their pit stops with some added time as well. So Terry Frederickson would, based off of that, at least go over Hanovic again. But Konchik is just driving away right now, and he's only got 5 seconds to serve, so I don't think they can make that for now. And, well, Damian Konchik, he's been the one to surprise for me, a name I hadn't heard of until he joined the league. And, well, to be honest, he's been at it all time, and he's been doing a massive, massive, massive job this season all around. And once again, looking good for, well, at least a couple more extra points. Don't know if it's going to be the P1 in the end, of course, but he is certainly building that road towards it for now. So we're going to keep our eye out to see where he finishes. As we now see your first serious pit stop come in, it's one of the front drivers coming in. Kari Matinika on to serve his first mandatory pit stop here, coming in at the 1 hour and 5 minute mark. And I guess that is to avoid traffic. All the drivers coming in at the 1 hour mark. And honestly, ooh, what was that? A very daring dive there of the McLaren of Neil Archer. Now going ahead of Dominic Gies here as well. But honestly, that Porsche Cup is holding on quite well.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier on, and there's quite a few of them. Tempool up in P11 as well from the Porsche Cup. And then the rest of the field sort of dotted around, so good for the drivers. Maybe we'll see a little bit more variety in the placements here regarding our Porsche Cup friends.
Yeah, absolutely. To me, I found that the drivers at the front are, generally speaking, also a little bit more confident in their own abilities to go for moves like this. And well, it has just paid off for Neil Archer, but it's not something you get to see every day from him. Generally speaking, a very calm and respected driver, but I guess he saw that gap, decided, you know what, this time I'll claim that space, and he does successfully. Makes his way through nicely, now leaving the two Porsche Cups behind to battle it out. And it's honestly incredible to me, right? Dominic Gies and John Dudley, 2 of the 3 Porsche Cups in a 25 car field, and yet somehow they're able to find each other.
Kindred spirits, or birds of a feather, as it were, you know.
Is that a
Something
saying
along
I've
those
never heard
lines.
of?
Birds of a feather flock together. You know, I don't know. Is that they don't have that in the Netherlands there?
Yeah, I guess to me, I really gotta get like studying when it comes to the English sayings, because honestly, most of the time when everybody goes and talks slang or has any saying, something that I can't translate literally, I'll be like, yeah, I don't know what that means. And obviously we had this football coach, Louis van Gaal, who just did the exact thing with Dutch sayings, that he translated word for word into English. It's quite an experience always, but
Oh no.
yeah, that was honestly quite hilarious as well. Because now you guys could finally like feel what that feels like for me. But yeah, I've still got plenty to learn, of course. And well, that's honestly one of the things that I really want to get studying. Like, hey, you know what sayings can I use to just make me feel like a little bit more natural behind the mic? But I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm just gonna study them in like I would study for a test. I generally have no clue how to approach such a thing.
I mean, I guess so. Because I don't think there's really much meaning behind them, you know, metaphorically. It's a very literal thing.
Generally speaking, yes. And we do that a little bit less in Dutch. Like, generally speaking, it is just a metaphorical thing we're speaking about. So there is also quite a bit of a culture difference in those, right? And also the fact that our languages were basically the same at some point in history, which feels weird as well. Because Old Dutch, to me, if you listen to Old Dutch, it sounds surprisingly a lot... No, sorry, Old English sounds surprisingly a lot like Old Dutch, which is kind of weird as well. I can literally understand that, which is also very weird. As Neil Archer had done all that work to overtake and now finds himself coming into the pit regardless.
Huh. Well, just a proof of concept, I guess. Maybe he'll want to try that one again later, but in the meantime, get one of his pit stops out of the way.
Exactly. Now, obviously, you don't want to get stuck behind the slower drivers anyway, so it does make sense here. As we've got Konchik. For some reason, it said that he lost the lead for a little bit. I don't think that was the case at all here. I think that was just no, because Hanowich is on 4 seconds difference, so I can't imagine that being a thing. Right, well, welcome to the beautiful program that's called ACC Race Control, I suppose.
We saw that at the same time, and I was like, I freaked out for a second, but no, it's just ACC Race Control being fun.
Yeah, I'd like to believe that I very well take care of my, you know, ACC Race Control, and that I, generally speaking, will notice those things, but I guess I really didn't this time around. There's John Dudley's also come in, and he will be the first Porsche Cup to come in, I believe. And actually, maybe I'm wrong. Yes, no, Ricardo and Gies have both come in, but I've just never noticed when they actually did.
Also, going to see P5 Elliott Watts jumping into the pit. So that's our first top 10 competitor. Yeah, first competitor from the top 10 to take the pit lane. So he'll have his first pit stop out of the way. Obviously going to have one more after that as well, but it's a start. Gets him somewhere.
He's got to serve that penalty as well, though, so that is going to cost him a little bit more time. And I wonder where's that going to put him in terms of traffic? Because obviously if you are, you know, finding yourself ahead of him, but you're not a lap down or anything. I mean, you can defend if you want to. It wouldn't benefit the both of you, but I guess, you know, just you don't want to be fighting those people if you don't have to. But he's made a decision to come in early. And I guess it does make sense if you want to divide your race into 3 equal parts, right?
Yeah.
But I still question the call a little bit, because I have got no clue where Elliott Watts will be and what the drivers behind him are doing in terms of lap times. Are they going to be significantly slower, or can he just kind of find himself a place in clean air and just focus on his own thing?
I don't know. It would be interesting to see here. I was trying to check where... Looks like he's coming out. Drivers' best laps are about 2 seconds behind his, so Watts should be able to make up a little bit of time, but
he's still gonna
have to keep an eye on him.
Yeah, you have to still get past him, which is obviously the tricky part, right? It's not just that if you're faster, you're automatically past him. You still have to fight your way out of the racing line or force the people ahead of you to make a mistake, unless they're willingly to let you by. But do you want to rely on them letting you by, even though they don't have to? It's going to be a big question mark for me, but he does get that penalty out of the way. As we're going to also see that Nico Handke has come into the pits just now. And what do I see? Is that a new livery for Nico Handke? Has he left his teammate in the dark? I'm trying to see again, but I'm pretty sure that Oliver Jewick is just running that Vivid Global Racing livery. So maybe, just maybe, he's jumped ship. I'm going to have to ask that a little bit later on as well. Or maybe I'm just mixing up teams in my head. No, I'm honestly starting to second guess myself. Whoa, what was that? That was just Aston Martin teleporting onto the road there.
Okay, you saw that too. I thought my computer might be failing again, but...
No, I saw the exact same thing. That's Eleanor, I'm pretty sure. I don't even see Eleanor anymore. Oh, there he is. He is still driving. I don't know. Maybe he had lost connection to the server for a little bit, or maybe I had, or whatever it might be. That looked pretty weird on my screen, but luckily no incidents happened as a result, which is obviously the most important thing. As Richard Darkwood Jr. is now finding himself all over the back of New Archer here.
Ooh, whoa. Yeah.
A little bit dicey.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was going to be a touch or not, but I think it was okay in the end.
It was okay, but he almost lost grip. Which makes me think that he's definitely feeling that pressure, because generally speaking, those drivers don't really make mistakes anymore unless somebody forces them to. And I guess it's just a matter of time to see, right? When does Richard Darkwood feel comfortable enough to go for a move around, and where would that be? He's gonna try and go side by side, but he's gonna have that outside line, but New Archer leaves in that space, and then it's gonna be a drag race all the way up to the next corner. But I think that New Archer will not have it. I could be mistaken, and yes, he's most definitely behind now, as Richard Darkwood makes up another position here. Very, very clean move, as suddenly it is an absolute traffic jam in the pits here.
Yeah, looking like everyone had the same idea, 30-minute segments, because they're all starting to come in now. Obviously, we have a few drivers that still need to do it, but Fredrickson are also jumping into the pits. Konchik served his now, so just waiting on the top 5. It's just Aaron Christie that has to serve now.
I mean, the thing right now that I'm most looking at, right? The Konchik took 1 minute and 6 seconds in the pit. The most drivers, obviously due to the fixed pitting time, like the fixed fueling time, most drivers will be doing pit stops that are at least 1 minute long. The gap when Fredrickson came in was roughly 40 seconds. And obviously that doesn't take it to the account that you have to take a slightly slower route over to the pits as well. So by that logic, Fredrickson will be losing out on that position. Even though Konchik had served this penalty already, and Fredrickson obviously didn't have one. He was the one at the front that was one of the few drivers that didn't have a penalty. So I think Konchik has cleared that penalty now. From then on, I guess it's just a matter of taking it clean over to the finish.
Yeah, that's an impressive performance from Konchik. As I was watching Fredrickson's perspective, and you could see Konchik drive past to take over P1 once again. So we were just talking about him maintaining a very impressive performance here over these past few weeks. A lot of times haven't even had anything much to say because he's just been clear first or driving in his own little world there. So
absolutely
maintain that lead here.
Yeah, now more and more drivers coming in here. It's Mbugua and Darren Christie. I also think I said Alan Nora was standing still, but looking at the liveries again, it was the Kenyan driver then. So maybe just knowing that the ping difference between the drivers is quite significant. And I also know that, you know, in Africa, the ping isn't too great regardless, right? It's not very stable, at least not when I was in South Africa for a big part of my life. No, I do think that could have been something there. Although it's not caused any accident, and the fact that he's going that quick on a controller with also the ping disadvantage, like, somebody get this guy a wheel, man. He deserves it at this point.
Yeah. I would be very curious to see that, although of course you have to get used to it. And
yeah, I was slower for a couple weeks. And very much so. I still get beaten by controller players sometimes on the set of course, and it pisses me off. It really does.
Did Mbugua, did he disconnect? Is he off the
No. He was into the pits. I think he's still driving, no? Wait, has he just disappeared? You're kidding.
I'm not seeing his name on the... That was sort of where my trail off went.
Oh, no. Yeah, it appears to be gone. No, I'm checking all the names. I don't see him anymore.
Yeah, I don't see him at all.
Not like that. Maybe it was just the internet acting up too much. There could also be others, but he did come into the pits, which made me think that he was just going to continue here. But yeah, it appears that he is gone. And I don't know if we'll see him back at any point.
It seems unlikely at this point, I would say. Just kind of a tough way to go out, whatever it was. No particular incident that I at least saw.
No, me
So,
neither.
just too
His
bad.
car looked quite intact as well. It's obviously a little bit difficult to say what it actually was in the end, but I don't think there was anything particularly that caught my eye when I was inspecting his car. He had some light damage from brushes, but that's just only a tiny bit of bodywork that, well, half of the drivers would get at some point. So that
Yeah.
wasn't necessarily worrying me at all. But yeah, that's a shame. That's a real shame. And, well, I guess that's just how it is sometimes. Life's unfair. And these things out of your control, they sometimes really do matter. Is Alan Norris come off to once again drive, but well, he's going to park it up now and serve that 10-second time penalty that he had as well. And Alan, I am forever grateful to Alan because he actually spent a lot of time in the Discord AFK streaming the 24-hour of Le Mans, so I was able to catch up the most of it. So yeah,
Nice.
Alan, think you so much, my friend. Very much appreciated. I'm actually...
that's
go on, sorry.
That's a community service. No, I was gonna say that's a great community service. So shout out to Alan.
Now the thing is for me as well, I find myself in an unfortunate position because I was really proud to get my triples right. I was really happy. I saved up a lot of money for them, worked my arse off to
Yeah.
get them. No problem, you know, all worth it in my opinion. And then I post in the chat about it, right? In the Rig Talk channel that we have. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna post about my triples coming in. That was like when I just ordered them. And then like just before I did so, he has gone for triple 4K monitors.
Haha. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That is that is just I mean I don't wanna say overkill, but it seems like just insanity to me.
Yeah, that is
I love it.
yeah, I really feel sad about my triple 4040s coming on now. And he said as well, there's always a bigger fish, which I guess is true, right? Gotta be happy with what I've got. And within my budget, I think I've got the maximum that I possibly could have. Got a second-hand SimLab rig, which is still in really good condition. I had another monitor to spare, which I'm now upgrading. Got a Moser R9, which is, for me, a pretty endgame wheelbase. I don't think I'm gonna be swapping anytime soon.
Right.
So for me, I think, honestly, I'm rather satisfied with the setup, but it does just sting a little bit. But yeah, I guess it's how it is sometimes. And now I've kind of found myself into a small rat race. And I've even said in the chat as well, because Aaron said, well, contentment's a hard lesson to learn, right? And I said, well, I will not lose a rig rat race against a Dane with a 3D printer. And then I realized that, yes, I absolutely would. Because first of all, he's got more budget than I have. And second of all, he's got a 3D printer, so if he wants a keyboard tray or a cup holder, you can just print one out. And I have to buy one for $60 of what's it called? Of SimLab, which is obviously cutting into your budget. So now I'm actually like calculating like how much stuff would I need to print out to break even on the 3D printer.
Oh my god. On a 3D printer? I mean, I guess you can get the smaller, like, you know, cheaper ones, but I think those ones still are gonna run you, what, a few grand?
No, I saw a couple 3D printers that are supposedly quite well, that cost between 200 to 300 euros.
Oh, okay.
And if that is the case, I would be, you know, getting back with, let's say, I said it was counts a little bit wide. Like if I were to buy one keyboard holder, you know, and some other stuff like a mouse holder and like a cup holder as well, I would pretty much already break even apart from the 3D printing materials, which are not that expensive. But if I, for example, went to make a couple for my friends and they pay me like, you know, 10 or 20 bucks per time that I make something for them, then I would break even rather quickly. Plus the fact that I've then got a new hobby as well and a new skill that I can learn.
That's not bad at all, actually.
I thought they were more expensive too.
Can
but
you, yeah. You can, like, have your 3D printing service on the side.
Exactly.
Pay itself off.
It would rather quickly, because obviously you've also got shipping to do. But but I'm just like unsure as well about 3D printing. For example, like if I were to buy a keyboard tray for my sim rig, it would be full metal. It's going to be very rigid.
Oh,
it won't
right.
move. It won't break, etc. Whereas I'm not sure how strong the 3D printer stuff is nowadays, really. I can't imagine it being weak, to be honest, right? As you've got structural integrity, right? It's all triangles, and triangles are really strong. But it is just kind of like carbon-ish plastic, right? So, as far as my knowledge goes. So,
No, I think you're correct.
Yeah, I honestly wouldn't know.
I guess it kind of comes down to the old adage of, is that Dark Void just going off there?
Yep.
Yeah, Dark Void just went off quite a bit on the corner there. Didn't actually lose many positions, so looks like he's recovered.
Yeah,
But,
no, it was just a little going right, but it wasn't too bad after all.
No, I guess I was just gonna say it's the old adage of do you buy, you know, like do you print it a bunch of times for cheap, or do you buy it once for something expensive, you know?
Exactly, but the thing is, I'm trying to upgrade less here. Like, I've said to myself, once I get my triple monitors in, I am not allowing myself to buy anything new if it breaks, with one exception. That's the thing that I kind of went the Moza ecosystem for. Because I specifically chose the Moza ecosystem here, as that's going to be Terry Frederickson going rather slow. But there's a reason I chose the Moza ecosystem, and that's because they're one of the few companies, sim racing companies, actually the only sim racing company, that has made a truck wheel. And I really want the 40 centimeter truck wheel.
I remember this, yes.
It is so expensive. They're $300, which I really cannot afford for a piece of metal and plastic. But I want one. There are some companies though that make like special rigs for like farming simulator and such, but obviously I do racing as well, so I have to do both.
For farming simulator,
Yeah, no, there's games that make, there's companies that make like rigs specifically for like steering wheels and pedals and such, and shifters specifically for games like truck simulators and farming simulator. I mean, does it surprise you? Wow. There's even farming simulator esports. I found out about this the other day. ESL, the biggest esports organizer in the world, has hosted a farming simulator competition at some point.
Okay. Oh gosh, I don't think I have. I know there's 45 minutes left. I don't think I have enough time for my questions.
We are halfway through. Keep pushing.
That's impressive. I mean, I know people love that farming simulator, and I kind of get it. I've never played it, but it looks sort of relaxing.
That's what.
So then I guess my question becomes, if it's like this nice relaxing game, why would you compete in esports? Doesn't that seem like a
counterintuitive?
Yeah. That's all I can think of.
For me, I guess that the biggest reason I would play a game like this, like for example, what Truck Simulator is to me is what fishing games are to other people. Just to relax, you know, put some music on. You don't really have to actively think that much, and well, you're not stressing about anything, right?
Right.
Which I guess is real good. For me, I find that it is indeed a way to relax, but I guess at some point you'll become so good at certain things that it will automatically become a competition, right? Because for example, even if you play Minecraft, like at some point you want to, you know, get into like, how do I get to netherite armor fast? Or if you do like, let's say, you know, farming simulator, how do I get rich fast? Euro Truck Simulator, how do I get rich fast? Whatever, you name it. At some point, like, there's tactic behind everything that you do if you play it at a high level. And I honestly could see myself going down the slippery slopes on those. But farming simulator, to me, it's just really never appealed to me.
It's almost too much of a job. Like the Euro Truck Simulator, obviously, truck driving is obviously a job. But it's sort of basic insofar as you're just driving a truck one location to another and you can relax. Farming's a lot of work. Like, It's like a lot you gotta do.
I think you might be underestimating how difficult it actually is to drive trucks, right? I feel like
I shouldn't have used the thing that you play.
no. No. But hear me out. Like IRL truck driving to me would be stressful because first of all, if you were
True,
to fall
yeah.
asleep behind the wheel or something, you'd kill somebody because those things are just never gonna stop, right? They're huge trucks, very heavy, and then also like you have to kind of understand the rules and regulations and the language in every country as well to be able to drive around if you go across Europe, let's say. And there's also like you're basically always in or around your truck. So that is going to be what a McLaren's going off. Was that Dan Poole? Then yes, that was Dan Poole, and therefore also losing that position. Oh, that doesn't feel great. But honestly, yeah, I would honestly hate it to be a truck driver because you're always driving or you're just like sleeping in the back of your truck. Like I want to get out there and go for a walk sometimes, you know, but obviously that's just not an option.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Never, could never be me. Speaking of falling asleep at the wheel, I did that last night cooking, so I should not be a truck driver. I couldn't be trusted.
Yeah, I really shouldn't be either. And luckily I've kind of realized that by now.
Yeah.
But you know, I do feel like, you know, just getting a bus driver's license or something would just be fun to do as a side gig, you know. Some of my friends do this actually. They're studying full time, but they drive buses in the weekends. I think that's
like
really awesome.
Or?
No, like just public transit buses, yeah. So and they're like, yeah. I mean, if you like driving, why not, right?
Is it easy to get though, that gig?
No, not really. But generally speaking, because there's a big shortage of bus drivers, the companies will pay for your license costs as long as you stick with them for X amount of time. So you'll sign a contract for, let's say, like 2 years, but then they'll pay for your license. And they won't deduct it from your salary either. And Stan Poole has once again made a mistake and he's lost 2 positions again.
Yeah, because I know here to drive public transit takes like 8 months of, you know, dedicated applications and forms and
you gotta get the license,
full time, and the licensing and the training on the specific thing, and you gotta join the union, and it's just like a whole.
Yeah, now obviously we are also like that, right? We are also a country where everything has to bow for any form of rule and regulation in any case, and everything is also set in paper, and you know. But I think that we are just getting desperate as well. That a part-time bus driver doesn't really affect us that much. If you're still studying, because first of all, I mean, they're paying for their education, so who cares? You're gonna get that money back anyways. And then second of all, another thing that you have to take into consideration, at least what I think, is that, you know, if you've got no bus drivers, that's gonna also just be a massive hit for the people that can't afford to have a car or live in places where, you know, it's car free, or people that can't get a license because of medical conditions, you name it, right?
Yep.
That's a big group as well, plus the students that all have free public transit and need to be transported around. Like, I think that is a pretty honorable job in itself. Like,
no, yeah.
You need those people, and we've gotten that desperate that we've now, like, flown over, I believe, like 30 to 40 Croatian bus drivers to be a bus driver in the Netherlands because...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're just running out of people to do so.
Oh, interesting. I didn't realize it was such a shortage there. I think here it's like a waiting. It's like the opposite. Should talk to Canadians.
Oh yeah. I mean, we could, but then again, it would be work visas and such, right? Whereas for now, we're in the EU, so that makes it easier. Plus, Eastern Europe is pretty cheap wage-wise as well. Although I think it's very technically illegal to pay people from other countries, like, you know, less money if they work in the same country and work in the, you know, the same contract. But I do think that still happens, because I believe that the average, like, monthly salary is like half of what it is in the Netherlands. So I wouldn't be surprised if they, you know, cheated a little bit there.
Right, probably. Interesting.
Terry Frederickson catching up to David Hill here. And David Hill is obviously a rather quick driver, but obviously with the increased competition, he's not as dominant as he was last year around, where he managed to win the entire thing, but now he really has to fight for it. Actually, not even in the top 4 right now, I believe. And Terry Frederickson, well, he is still looking to gain a couple positions in, but obviously Konchik and Hanowich are ahead of him in these standings, so we'll need to do really, really good now. And honestly, I am not sure how it managed for now. It's going to be quite interesting. And, well, time will tell if he could do this, of course. But this is a battle to watch here. And also one that I could see going all the distance, really. As both David Hill and Terry Frederickson have shown before in the past that they both know how to race. That they're both incredibly quick around any circuit you can imagine. So these two, honestly, I could see these two go all the distance, or at least until one of them goes into the pits. But time will tell.
I'll have to see everyone up until P14 still having to serve their final pit stop. So with only 36 minutes left and only 31 of those eligible for pitting, it's going to get real interesting here in the next, 15-20 minutes as drivers have to make the choice when and where, try and avoid that traffic.
That's also a thing, right? When you've got these things, you need to get out there. For me, it's kind of like, well, whenever you pit, you're gonna find traffic, but I don't know how much it will affect you individually, as obviously everybody's gonna have to come in at some point. And I think if you could just wait out to come in and let the driver ahead of you come in, like worst case scenario, you'll slot in behind him again. Because at the moment, ahead of these two, it's actually looking quite alright in terms of traffic. So as long as they're not catching up to the drivers in front, I honestly think that they'll manage for now.
Keep an eye on things here as Elliott Watt's also getting into the action a little bit, trying to make up some time. Tight field between 2 and 7 right now.
Already 5 minutes remaining of that race, and honestly, we haven't seen a massive amount of disconnects here. Terry Frederickson has fallen back a little bit. Unfortunately, not able to keep up with the pace of David Hill for now. And Elliott Watts is doing his own thing as well. Now we have got 23 remainers still driving realistically. So sure, we've had a smaller grid here as Joey Attenborough that's Elliott Watts by here. But I do think that as a result, we're also seeing less incidents, and therefore also a couple less disconnects from time to time. So honestly, I think this is all pretty good news, right? I think this is definitely helping with just building on that positive image of, being a clean racing league that takes stewarding pretty serious. Because obviously that's what we do. Although we have gotten ourselves in a place where we have had some messy races, and obviously that's also what we kind of do to ourselves by choosing tracks that obviously are a little bit more prone to those incidents. Although I do think that this is only going to be good, and I think this is also just the thing that we should be expecting. But yeah, I guess time will tell, as Terry Frederickson is looking to get ever so slightly closer to David Hill again.
Frederickson and Watts as well, both making up this roughly the same gap here, so it'll be tight to watch as everyone tries to get up into these top 5 positions. But no, as you say though, it's been an incredibly clean race so far. Very few things of note, incident-wise. Mostly just been about the battles, a couple wide corners here and there, but other than that,
I think it's been quite alright. Obviously, everybody knows that incidents happen from time to time, and I guess it's also part of racing, right? You can't have good racing without rubbing, as Terry Frederickson makes his way past David Hill here. And unfortunately, we weren't able to catch the move, so I'm quickly going to put it in the replay here. And let's see how it's actually done. Has he just sent it down the inside off turn 1? I think he might have. Nicely done there. Clean move, makes his way past. Maybe also a little bit sloppy on the defense there for David Hill, as he's now chasing. Dan Poole coming in to serve another pit stop here as well. I see. Field there, I was just slightly getting those pit stops done here, but obviously with 30 minutes, we're going to have to see everybody come in sooner or later. I wouldn't be surprised to see the drivers come in pretty soon here, as we are about to hit that 30-minute mark.
Well, they're going to have to do it sooner or later, and kind of becomes this game of chicken, doesn't it? Where you have to figure out who's going to be the first one to do it, and then that's going to set the pace for probably what everyone else does.
Yeah, for me... Oh, sorry, go on.
No, all yours.
I forgot what to say now, thank you. It's just one of these days, isn't it? Now, obviously, it is running rather late, and this week has been killing me school-wise, because I've got a very important project that I need to pass on, which I've got my, what do you call it, like my assessment tomorrow. Yeah. And then after that, I've got a couple of weeks to improve on the final application I'm making and out systems. And then if I get those things done, I could start my final internship and be finished with my bachelor's by February. That does mean that I really need to, you know, put everything that I've got now into it to avoid having to do things for another half a year. But honestly, yeah, that is quite tight.
It's what, sorry?
It's quite tight. It's really not easy to do every single time.
Oh, no, yeah.
I mean, I've got like 3 casts only this week because of that reason. This is one of them. Yeah. And I've got one tomorrow. And then I've got the IRL event on Saturday, but that's the only thing I'll be able to do. And keeping that in mind, well, I must say it's not going to be easy.
But then once you're done that, are you finished for the summer?
Yes.
Ah.
Which I can't wait for. All my American friends already have holidays, and I'm really jealous.
Yeah, I've been finished school for over a month now, so I'm a little surprised.
Oh, shut up. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
When do you start up again? September?
1st of September.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. We officially, very officially, only have 6 weeks of summer break. But we do get a lot more, like, other holidays that you guys don't have. For example, we get a whole week off for Easter, for example.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Ooh, that's Mercedes going off into the background. That was Nico Handke fighting himself into the wall. That's not good. Not a very good sign, but he does make his way across again, and well, I think he's only got minor damage, but it does cost him quite a bit of time.
Yeah, it's going to be rough, and he still has to serve his pit stop. Elliot Watts, though, has finished his final pit stop, so he's going to be the first of our top 10 competitors here, top 8, or at least from the pro split, to be fully finished with his pits, so he can just look to finish the race at this point from here on out.
I think it's a great call, right? Oliver Dewing now, John Dudley. I believe that Dan Poole. No, it wasn't Dan Poole. There was one of the Ferraris getting out of the pits just now. These drivers are just obviously getting it over with now. Guy Cunahan coming in the background as well. He's had a quiet race. But yeah, he finds himself to serve his... Well, he finds himself serving that penalty now. Meaning that he could just focus on the rest of the race now, right? No longer having to worry about coming in.
Yep.
And I think that's a great thing at the moment.
Yeah. Nico Handke going to follow suit here, I guess. Like, this will probably be the start of the rest of it. We'll have to see if any of our top competitors here might want to, you know, hold on to the last possible second. We've seen that before. And
It's full of surprises always, isn't it?
yeah, we'll have to keep a close eye on everyone here. And just looking in at Konchik again as Hanovic goes into the pit. It was a 20-second gap, so he's maintaining that P1 quite well at the moment.
Sylvain Pastorius here in good battle as well. Together with Kari Martinique on here, the Swissman versus the Finn. Both have served the mandatory pit stop, so this will just be for position now. And Sylvain, I mean, he's still top 10 here. This is a massive result for him as well, points-wise. And that is Kari Martinique on going rather wide. I don't know if he was trying to prioritize the exit, but just overshot it in the end anyways. Or if potentially he just made a small mistake, but Sylvain Pastorius not able to capitalize there. So even though he's made a mistake, he's honestly covered up for it quite well.
Yeah, I thought Pistorius had it there for just a moment, but Kari Martinique obviously knows what he's doing, able to make up whatever he lost pretty quickly, and he's back with a decent enough lead, pulling away from Pistorius now. So mistake or not, good recovery from Nikkanen, and looks like he'll be able to maintain at the moment, while Pistorius still looks for another way to get past his rival here.
Yeah, time will tell to see if he's able to do so. It's going to get rather tight. Obviously, there's still a couple minutes left to try and make a move here. That must be as well what Oliver Dewey is thinking here, as he's still behind the Porsche Cup here. Definitely a suboptimal race from him. It has been quite tough on him. And I guess for him, considering that I normally expect him to be up there at the front, I think it's safe to say that this is honestly a race to forget for Oliver Dewey here.
Yeah, it's tough. I guess everyone has those days once in a while, but been a bit of a rough day for him there. Fredriksson and Emil Platt as they've made their way into the pit. 20 minutes left for the rest of the field to do so if they haven't already.
Yeah, now one side as well, it just baffles me how close these races can be after such a long while as well, right? That somehow after, well, it's been more than an hour now. After an hour and 5 minutes, these drivers are still driving within 2/10 of each other sometimes, which is honestly quite unreal as well.
Yeah.
Right? It just shows how competitive the field really is. And I think a perfect example of that was as well the 24 Hours of Le Mans, where, you know, drivers were still seconds from each other after 24 hours, which is honestly unreal, considering all the external factors that come into it, right? Crashes happening elsewhere, the weather, everybody going in long stints of hours long, all the regulations and stuff, but somehow it's still that close, and honestly I find that to be pretty impressive.
Yeah, over such a, obviously, compared to 24 hours, not that long, but over a 90-minute race, still takes a lot to be able to maintain that level of consistency, something we've been talking a lot about today and over the past couple of weeks.
We have seen some good races as well. This is the ultimate week, this is the ultimate one for endurance racing in general. We've had the 24 hour of the Nürburgring, 24 hour of Le Mans, 24 hour of Spa coming up as well. As now Konchik has come in, serving his mandatory pit stop. Hanovic has already done it, but he's not going to get ahead of him as he's still got a full lap to do. Gap between the drivers are currently roughly 1 minute 15 seconds, and you can do your pit stop within then, so he should just be safe for now. Terje Fredriksson still in P5. Oh, P4 now, obviously, as Konchik's come in. And Dan Pickles also serving that pit stop now. And Terje Fredriksson here now most definitely ahead of David Hill, who's chasing on 4 minutes. So honestly, top 4 still up for the cards here, and he is still pushing to Emma Plate as well. And if these two battle it out towards the end here, I honestly think that if Terje Fredriksson is able to get on that podium right now, he should still be satisfied. Sure, Konchik and Hanovic are escaping a little bit in the overall championships, But he is just solidifying himself to be there at the front, and he knows that another opportunity will arise, especially considering that Koncic and Hanovic, they are going to get higher success penalties. So I think that would just be the perfect scenario for him anyways, whereas he would only get 5 seconds.
Yeah, a lot of considerations to go into that. But I'll have to keep an eye on these two. Just also taking a look at Sylvain Pastores as he looks to make a pass at Dan Pickles now, as a bit of losing the grip there, looked like, for a second. So Pastores going to maintain. He was fighting Kari Matalikanen earlier, and looks like he lost some positioning here as well. So Pastores got to see if he can find some room for improvement here in the last few minutes of the race.
I think for me, I think that at this point it makes sense, right? You're gonna make a couple mistakes this late in the race. Everybody's tired. I mean, for some drivers it's getting close to midnight. You've been driving for more than an hour now. It makes sense that these drivers are not doing the cleanest laps anymore. But now with all these pit stops coming in, you also have to realize, you know, dude, you're so close to coming where you need to be. So honestly, I find it to be a little bit disappointing to see how things are going right now for some of the drivers, knowing that they're this close. And the only thing they've got to do is kind of hold on, as it appears that their last driver here is actually into the pits right now. It's Guy Cunahan together with Alan Noor here, but I don't know how long Guy Cunahan's been standing in the pits for. I mean, he's only on 18 laps.
Quite long.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I consider him to be out of the race. Which means that once Alan Noor comes out of those pits, then I think it's safe to say that we've got all the pits underway, and we could just focus on 20 minutes of pure racing all the way towards the end of it.
And that will undoubtedly be an exciting 20 minutes. A couple battles to keep an eye on here.
This is one of them, right? I'm gonna play it still versus Terry Fredrickson.
Yeah.
A couple minutes to go, and the closer it gets to me, the more clear it's going to be what the final results will be. And for now, obviously it is hard to imagine what's going to happen next, but I would like to think that Emil Plate is going to be able to hold on to this position, because that would put Terry Fredrickson in the danger zone, which is obviously never a personal thing, but I do think it would be spicing things up here, as obviously we are still nowhere towards the end of the season, but then it's going to really have to fight for it later on races where I find it to be rather challenging to overtake, for example, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Kyalami was a tricky one of the most technical tracks, together with Bathurst, of course. We've got Donington Park going on, a track that's also kind of difficult to overtake on and quite narrow, so it's going to be interesting, and that's especially when being fast in qualifying is going to help you out a lot as well.
Yeah, and we were talking about that well, hours ago now, but it definitely takes its toll depending on where you end up landing.
Sorry, I wasn't quite able to catch you, mate. Sorry.
Oh, we were talking about qualifying, and how important it was. You know, obviously all the way back an hour and a bit ago now. And I think for the most part, yeah, it has stayed fairly close to where we started off. A couple of notable exceptions, but
yeah, I guess for those races, it's going to be extra important to be really sharp here. So we are seeing some drivers going back and forth here. This is Alan Noor losing out as Neil Archer makes way past, and he's going so slow that even Darkwood Jr. might be able to capitalize, and indeed he will make his way past. So Alan Noor loses twice there in the end. And that just looked like a little bit of a silly mistake to me. So he's really done it to himself, or there's no reason for him to be feeling it like that. But it's a shame here. Falls back 2 positions. And now it's just a matter of catching up again. But oh, that must hurt as well. Having fought for it so long and then just seeing 2 players just sneak by as soon as you make the slightest of mistakes.
Yeah, one is bad enough as it is, but both of them just add salt to the wound, to use another slang term there. So, Nor not out of it yet, though. He's only about, he's about a second behind and dropping here, so we'll have to see if he can maintain his pace, but I just noticed he's stuck behind Konchik now, so it's going to be tough for him.
Yeah, that's what happens, right? Emma Plate does lose the position in the end. It's going to be Terry Frederiksen moving on as we were watching that other battle as well, but he does make his way past. A great result. Now, obviously, there is still plenty of time to try and make up for that, as long as you're able to get within reach, and Richard Darkwood Jr. is trying to do just that here. He is now hungry for more, as obviously he made his way past Alan Nor, and he's now pushing to get up to Neil Archer as well. But on a completely unrelated note, I was actually just thinking, the Libyan racing thing that you do, what tracks have they raced on before? Because I'm pretty sure I saw them on a Canadian track at some point as well. I think, weren't they on Motorsports?
I think they were at Calabogie, which is near Ottawa, which is, yeah, it's actually near where I'm from originally, not Toronto. So it was kind of cool to see that one. I was watching a couple of their VODs on Calabogie. Obviously, they were, as I was saying, racing on America. And then this week, what are we doing this week?
You're supposed to know. You're supposed to prep by yourself.
I
here.
should know that.
I've made a couple cheat sheets for you. I'm not going to make one for a league that I'm not even involved with.
Right. I have it here. Palmandera. Yeah.
But I guess it's mentally draining as well, right? Just having to do those things all the way, like all alone. Plus, I guess for you, it's also you're doing two days of comps at the same time, basically. It's never going to help you as Darkwood Jr. hits Neil Archer. He's not able to go by just yet here. But these two are neck and neck here, as we are getting into the final 15 minutes here. This is honestly getting quite intense now, and Richard Darkwood Jr. wants to get by, but at the moment there's just no possible way to do so.
He's looking for every single angle. A lot of aggression here from Darkwood Jr. But it's just nothing opening up for him at the moment, except for maybe that. He's going to get the chance to go side by side, and indeed that will be the opportunity. So Darkwood Jr. going to move himself into P15. Leave Neil Archer just behind him.
Nicely done. Good move. Now it's just kind of awkward.
Fairly clean.
Yeah, there's really not too much going on at the moment here. There is not a lot of drivers still fighting here. I mean, Konchik's just doing his own thing right now and setting in those fast laps alone. Takil's got 18 seconds worth of gaps towards the number 2. So, honestly, I find it to be a little bit boring now, as there's really not a lot of fighting going on anymore. But I guess it makes sense as Neil Archer goes real wide into that. Just managed to turn the car now. That's actually not as bad as it looks, considering you can get that extra speed up into the straight next on, but...
Yeah, not going to help him catch up to Richard Darkwood Jr., though, who's making quite a lap here, trying his best to catch up, but it's just so far to Dan Poole in front of him. Look at that gap.
Absolutely. Obviously, it's not too bad there. But, yeah, time will tell. Now, actually...
Pardon me, I was looking at Dan's gap. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, no, the gaps are minimal, but still doable as well. Like, as soon as there's one mistake, they'll be right up again. But yeah, I've also just got some cool information on the event that I'm doing. So it's more drag racing, which I've done before. But I just got a sneak peek of all the cars that are attending. And there's quite a few... ones. I mean, I'm not allowed to announce it now that it's on the website anyways. But what I have seen is that we've got the drag races going on. Now, last time it was only Japanese cars, of course. Therefore, I knew a little bit less. Sorry, I knew a little bit more, but it was more like of the same. Where everybody has a Subaru or a 370Z, you name it. Now there is a little bit more going on, and some news was announced as well. I just gotta quickly find the link here. Yes, Showtime Breda, that's what it's called now. Hard for Out is Showtime. And I have seen that there is, for example, gonna be the winner that we saw last time around, which is a 1060 horsepower on the Civic Asana Norris to take evasive action. Is that Darkwood Jr.? Yes, it is. Oh no, makes a mistake, falls back all the way, sees all the drivers pass it. Okay, so this is the lineup that I've seen so far. There is a 1800 horsepower Dodge pickup truck that's gonna do drag racing. The winner, Goldie's gonna be there as well, which is the 1000+ horsepower Civic. There's an old Volkswagen Beetle drag racer, which
Nice, I love that.
has done a 12-second quarter mile before, so that's really quick. There's a 900 horsepower Chevrolet Nova as well, which is a car I've never seen IRL. Some BMW M5s. And honestly, it's gonna get quite exciting, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, absolutely. And so are you commentating that event? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm commentating the drag races.
Nice.
Which
That's
I
gonna be
think
fun.
I'll be doing solo as well. I mean, I'm unsure right now, but I think I might be doing it solo for the first time. Last time I had a colleague, so I've done 2 events so far. The first one I was just listening, right? How did they do that? It was giving me tips and little tricks and all that kind of stuff. And that was really cool. And then on the next one, he, he wasn't there. He was sick, so I got jumped in with another colleague. We knew how to put up a show, but he didn't really know the tactical details. So they just shoved the mic into my hand, and I had to do it. Handled it solo for a couple last hours as well. Now I think I'm gonna be completely solo in a venue I've never been to before as well. It's at an airport, like how drag racing originated.
Oh, okay.
Just adding to that, kind of special feeling as well. And it's gonna be at nighttime, so that's also gonna be quite fun, I think.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. So we're starting at 5, I believe, and we're ending at midnight. And then I've still got to drive back as well, so I'll probably be home at about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Already suboptimal, but it would be a lot of fun as well. It's just, there will just be something to that event that, I can't describe.
No, that sounds more than worth it. Drag race in an airport, like, that's what you hope for.
Yeah.
It's a Saturday, too?
Yes, it's a Saturday.
Ah, okay, that's... Nothing wrong getting home at 3 a.m. on a Saturday.
Nah, it's not too bad. I mean, it will be Sunday by then, but even then, it's not too bad.
That's true.
Because I could just go straight to bed, and I just gotta make sure that I'll reach my school deadlines. But I'm not gonna say no to the event. Yeah, that's gonna be a little problem here. So I really have to grind out all the hours that I can, possibly, to ensure that I have everything fixed by the turn-in date. But time will tell, of course. And so they're gonna be doing some drag racing. We're seeing some Burnout Madness as well. So they're gonna do some burnouts. They're gonna be drift shows, I think. Rev battles, I'm pretty sure as well. So yeah, quite a busy schedule there. And it's quite fun, because it's more on the entertainment side rather than the racing side, which obviously is not where I want to be completely, but it's just giving me that way in. And honestly, I can't wait for it.
No, that sounds awesome. Is it, where are they broadcasting that?
They're not broadcasting anywhere. It is just going to be for
it's just a local.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be for the people attending that event. Whereas Darkwood Jr. wants to give it a go, but Alan Noor blocks him off, and unfortunately also makes Richard Darkwood go quite wide. Yeah, no, it's an event where they will not broadcast it, but like there's 2,000 cars coming, so I can only imagine that there will be even more people, right? Because every person coming there has a car, and then they're also probably going to bring friends and such, so it's going to be quite a busy day there. But I think, it is a small airport, but obviously airports have quite a bit of space. So I can't wait for that one. It's going to be plenty of fun. And for me, just to be doing stuff on a different location is always a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, for sure. Getting out there, seeing the people, and it's just always a lot of fun when you can see the people you're talking to as well, right? So.
Yeah, exactly.
So Like an old dilapidated airport, not in use anymore?
No, it's an airport that they use for parachuting and like test flights, amateur flights.
Okay.
It's not a commercial
yeah.
airport because obviously renting out a commercial airport would cost way too much money and be a massive headache.
Yeah.
Right? Can you just imagine that they like, just say like, you know what? No planes on Amsterdam airport this time around. We're gonna do drag racing here. That will probably be a massive hit to the Dutch economy.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that ever going that way, but yeah, you never know. I mean, maybe one day will be big enough.
It could. It would be impressive if it was. Wonder if there's any airports near me hosting drag racing right now.
I mean, you live in Toronto, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've checked on racingcalendar.net. You've got this one Toronto street, like IMSA street race thing, right? But I think that's about it, really. There's nothing really close to you, unfortunately. At least not on racingcalendar.net. Although obviously those don't include drag events.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it's pretty much only Toronto Motorsports Park around here. I was just looking around, but
It's a shame, really. I always love going to IRL events. I'm actually about to book tickets to fly to Italy, so I could see the European Le Mans series there in the summer. It's kind of like a gift to myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great, yeah.
I'm gonna go to Imola,
That's
which
cool.
is probably one of the most beautiful circuits there is.
Yeah, I would. Oh gosh. I mean, just going in general is amazing, but going to get to see those tracks too. Anything in Italy just seems like a dream.
Yeah, definitely.
When is that?
5th to 7th of July. So quite close by. But the thing is, for some reason, the event tickets are so much cheaper than they are in Europe. In like the Netherlands and Germany and stuff. Because DTM tickets, if I wanted to go that one day, it would have cost me $80 for the event ticket alone. For one day, which is incredible. And then for that, it's like a weekend for like $20, which is really, really doable. Especially considering you're getting to see Le Mans style cars, plus some. They've actually got a really good roster going on as well in terms of racing. So they've got the, as I just said before, the European Le Mans series, right? That's like kind of the main thing. But they're supporting it by GT3 cars from Italy, GT4 cars from Italy, and the Porsche Carrera Cup as well. So you're really getting, quite an action-packed weekend for only $20.
$20 is such an incredible deal. Like, I'm a little shocked by that.
Yeah, you know what the problem is though with Imola? People complain about the noise, and therefore you can't really you can't really host too many events there because of the noise regulations. So you've got Formula 1, you've got WEC, you've got the European Le Mans series, and then that's basically the entire year. Right?
Oh.
Yeah, you've got World Endurance Championship, you've got the Formula 1, you've got a couple smaller Italian club races, which I guess don't make as much noise, like TCR and stuff. And that's literally it. It's a shame, really, because it's such an awesome track, but yeah, unfortunately, you just can't do it.
That's unfortunate. I didn't realize it was so locked down, I guess it were.
It's the same people that, like, for example, people complain about, like, the people living around Laguna Seca complain about it as well. And I guess, like, if you lived there before the circuit was made, I get that, right? I can understand why you don't like it and whatever, right? And that you don't want it to be there.
But if you move there and you know the circuit's there.
Exactly, right? It's the same people that go live too close to airports and then complain about the planes. Like, come on, you know they're gonna be there.
Oh, man. I don't know. If anything, you should be happy that you're right next to a raceway. Like, get to go see races all the time.
I mean, I can't complain. I live 15 minutes by bicycle away from a grade 2 circuit in cars and a grade 1 circuit in motorbikes, so I really can't complain.
That's not bad.
Yeah, true.
I was just looking at Toronto Motorsports Park, and there's not even a way to get there unless you drive.
I mean, if you get a car,
No.
ah, that's a shame. That's the thing. If you live in a big city, you wouldn't really need public transit either way, right?
Yeah, I don't have a use for it, right? Except for stuff like that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, maybe I would have it.
But buying a car just to incidentally go somewhere that you normally wouldn't go to, yeah. But you've got this, what's it called? The IMSA place. Is it called Exhibition Place or something? I'm pretty sure that's like around the city center, isn't it? So I guess
yeah, it's by the water.
So it would be pretty accessible then, I assume, by public transit.
Yeah, that was not bad. If it's a little different though. I think it's more like it's more uncommon. Like, I think it's more like an Imola, yeah, type.
It only happens once a
Sites.
year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, right? Because every time you have to build up the entire city, you know,
Yep.
just chase away all the homeless people,
Yeah.
like close off all the roads and you name it, right? Like, I guess it makes sense, right? Even Monaco only does it 3 times a year, which is already probably as much as you can ask for. Because you've got Formula 1, then you've got Formula E, and then you've got the Formula 1 Classic kind of thing. I don't know what it's called exactly, but Monaco Historics. And that's literally all they've got there. But like that is already one of the most legendary circuits in itself as well. So yeah, it's rather difficult, to be honest, to host these kind of things on a street circuit. But yeah, you know, you can't just build a circuit somewhere because that is a big investment.
It's such a huge investment, and I have a feeling that racing could kind of be a tough thing to invest in sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. I can imagine that. I definitely feel that.
Okay, the leader is on the final lap now. Give it all
Final
you
lap
can.
announced here. So only a minute left until we'll come to the end of the race here, and then I'm immediately speed running, getting into my bed here. It's gonna be an absolute necessity here, knowing that I need to wake up at 6.
Yeah.
Maximum of 7 hours sleep. It's not too bad, I suppose, but considering I do immediately need to do my assessment, it's gonna get rather tight.
Hopefully the folks here don't take too long on their final lap, and then can get off safely to bed. But it looks like we are pretty locked into this final lap. In terms of our positioning here, Darren Christie making one final push to catch up with.
What has happened? Oh, no, okay. I thought that they crashed, but no, that's just Aaron Holloway getting out of the way respectively. But yeah, Aaron Sparks has to fight for it the entire way here, and Darren Christie there makes a mistake, and that's made it quite awkward. Now obviously they will get another lap in here. So one lap for Darren Christie to try and catch up here, but Aaron Sparks has done a massive job this time round. Has really shown that he has what it takes, and obviously on home soil, the American was bound to do great. We knew that as well. Now Neil Archer also getting quite close. His Dark Horse gone real wide. So is that just going to be the overtake in the end? And yes, it is. Neil Archer then, well, is going to have to defend hard here, but they are coming into the last couple corners here. It will be Econ and P8. Pickles P9, that's set in stone already. Neil Archer now well towards the final. Oh, he's going to go down the inside one more time, isn't he? Oh, what a beautiful move. This is some great back and forth racing. Who's going to make it? It's going to be a drag line across the finish. I think Neil Archer might just have it, and indeed he will.
Yes.
Beautiful result there, and in the end it will be the result he was hoping for. Fredrickson comes in P3, and MP4 is for Emma Plate, and Elliot Watts is next, but not before David Hill crosses the finish. P6 it will be Yuka Handke with a good result as well in P7 here. The field just slowly but surely grouping up here, but yeah, you can see the results on the left of your screen as well. There's no big surprises there, apart from maybe this man, Aaron Sparks, with a wonderful race. Wasn't the top 10, but still, I feel like P11 is more than he could ever dream of on a track that he said himself was really, really difficult. P11, well, it's well deserved. Just gotta keep your cool through the last corner here. Darren Christie's not gonna get close. He's had an opportunity, but he's made the mistake, and that's what's cost him in the end. Aaron Spark to finish up P11 here as Aaron Christie comes in right behind. Some late finisher as well, and that will be it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys all so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure. Alex, have you got any final words for us before we end the stream so I can go to bed?
No. Just thank you to the folks for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me and for staying up late for the race.
All right, that will be it. But we'll be back next week around with a 75-minute race at Mount Panorama, otherwise known as Bathurst. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope to see you guys then. And until then, see you later. Bye-bye.
Till I get up, time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on